Sikhism, a complete deep dive. Beliefs, theology, the 10 gurus, Naam, Kirtan, sacred texts, and the path of the Khalsa. Ik Onkar, there is only one. Na koi Hindu, na koi Musalman, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim. The Adi Granth, the world's most explicit synthesis scripture, Sikh, Hindu, and Muslim saints singing side by side. The Naam, the divine name, is the creative sound current underlying all of existence. The Langar, 100,000 free meals every day at the Golden Temple. Personal reading, Sarisa, Halignisali, May 2026. Introduction, the youngest of the world's major religions. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder and the vision. Part 2, the founding revelation, there is no Hindu, no Muslim. Part 3, the theology of absolute unity. Part 4, Waheguru, the name and nature of the divine. Part 5, Naam, the divine sound current. Part 6, the 3 pillars, Naam Japna, Kiratkani. Part 7, the Mool Mantar, the root statement of all truth. Part 8, the 10 gurus, the living chain of divine wisdom. Part 9, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th guru in the Khalsa. Part 10, the Khalsa, the pure community. Part 11, the 5 Ks, the Khalsa identity. Part 12, the living eternal guru. Part 13, the Adi Granth, the synthesis scripture. Part 14, the Nitnam, daily prayer practices. Part 15, sacred music as the primary spiritual path. Part 16, Naam Simran, meditation on the divine name. Selfless service as sacred practice. The Langar, sacred equality made edible. Part 19, the Sikh life cycle, ceremonies and rites. Part 21, the Sikh life cycle, Sikh prayer. Part 22, the Sikh ethics, Hamrit Sanchala. Part 24, Sikh ethics and sacred equality. Introduction. With approximately 25 to 30 million practitioners worldwide, the vast majority in the Punjab region of India and Pakistan, and in substantial diaspora communities in the United Kingdom, Canada, the United States and Australia, and it is the youngest of the world's major religions, founded by Guru Nanak Dev Ji in 1469 CE. Despite its relatively recent founding, Sikhism has produced one of the most philosophically complete, most socially radical, and most practically coherent sacred traditions in human history. For the Haligricity practitioner, Sikhism offers 3 specific gifts that no other tradition provides with the same completeness and the same institutional embodiment: the Naam, the Guru Granth Sahib, and the Langar. This guide covers the full tradition, the theology, the 10 gurus, the Khalsa, the 5 Ks, the sacred texts, the daily practices, the ceremonies, the Kirtan tradition, Naam Simran, Seva, the Langar, and the Gurdwara, with full depth in each area and full honesty about the tradition's extraordinary radicalism on questions of equality, synthesis, and the direct accessibility of the divine to every human being. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder and the vision. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was born into a Hindu family in Talwandi, in the Punjab region of what was then the Delhi Sultanate. He was educated in both Hindu and Islamic traditions. His father was a Hindu accountant working for a Muslim administrator, and Nanak grew up in a world where the two traditions' tensions were constant and visible. From his earliest recorded experiences, he challenged both traditions' failures and saw through to the divine reality that both claimed to serve but often obscured. The formative experiences. Several specific events marked Nanak's spiritual development at age 11, when the sacred thread ceremony was to be performed as part of his Hindu upbringing. He refused the thread, declaring that a thread of cotton could not carry the weight of true sacred commitment, and offering instead a vision of the true sacred thread that he would spend his life teaching. This early rejection of external ritual in favor of inner transformation characterizes the entire tradition he founded. At approximately age 30, Nanak had the central experience of his life. He disappeared into a river during his morning bathing and was absent for 3 days. When he returned, he spoke the words that became the foundation of the Sikh tradition. There is no Muslim. He had been in the divine presence. What he brought back was the recognition that the divine's perspective transcends every human religious category. Guru Nanak's 4 Udasis, the teaching journeys. After his founding experience, Guru Nanak undertook 4 extended teaching journeys across the known world, covering an estimated 28,000 kilometers over approximately 25 years. First Udasi, through the Indian subcontinent, visiting Hindu pilgrimage sites and Muslim holy places, engaging scholars and practitioners of both traditions. 2 Sri Lanka, engaging with the southern Hindu traditions. Third Udasi, to the Himalayas, Tibet, and the high mountain traditions. 4th Udasi, the most remarkable, to Mecca and Medina and to Baghdad. The account of his sleeping with his feet pointing toward Mecca, and when the Imam objected, the Imam found that wherever he moved Nanak's feet, the Kaaba appeared to move with them, is one of the tradition's most celebrated stories of his radical universalism. The teaching method, at each stop, Nanak engaged the specific tradition's representatives in dialogue, singing his compositions to the accompaniment of his Muslim companion Mardana's rebab, and then discussing the divine's nature with whoever would engage. This combination of sacred music and dialogue became the template for the entire Sikh tradition's approach to spiritual transmission. The founding revelation, there is no Hindu, no Muslim. Na koi Hindu, na koi Musalman, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim. This declaration, made by Guru Nanak upon his return from the 3-day divine encounter, is the founding statement of Sikhism and one of the most theologically radical statements made by any religious founder in history. In the Punjab, in the context of constant Hindu-Muslim tension, to declare that neither category exists at the level of divine reality was not merely liberal tolerance. It was the assertion that the divine's perspective fundamentally transcends the categories through which human beings organize their sacred experience. What the statement means. The statement is not saying that Hinduism and Islam do not exist as historical and social phenomena. It is saying that when you stand in the divine presence, when the direct experience of the divine reality is what you are operating from, the categories of Hindu and Muslim are not the relevant framework. There is only the divine, and there are beings who are either moving toward or away from the divine, regardless of what religious label they carry. Connection to Halagricity. Na koi Hindu, na koi Musalman. This is the Sikh founding statement mapped directly onto Halagricity's synthesis recognition. The divine is not the exclusive property of any single tradition, and the sincere practitioner who is genuinely oriented toward the divine reality is not ultimately Hindu or Muslim or Christian or Sikh. They are a practitioner of the one divine reality that all of these traditions at their best point toward. Guru Nanak did not say this as a diplomatic gesture toward interfaith harmony. He said it as the most precise available description of what he had directly experienced. This is the Haligric Anakantavada operating at the level of the founder's own revelation. Iki Onkar, the theology of absolute unity. Ik Onkar, the two words that open the Mool Mantar, and the entire Guru Granth Sahib are the foundational theological statement of Sikhism, Ik Onkar. There is only one, not one God among many, not one preferred deity in a pantheon, one, the only existence, the ground of all being, from which all apparent multiplicity emerges and to which all apparent multiplicity returns. Ik Onkar, the theology in full. The numeral, significantly, Guru Nanak chose to begin the Guru Granth Sahib with the numeral 1 foot, not the word one, but the numeral itself. This choice communicates, this is not a concept, not a theological proposition. It is a mathematical fact of the structure of existence. There is one. Count it. Onkar, the Sanskrit Om, the primal sound vibration, the creative sound current that underlies all manifestation, is understood in the Sikh tradition as the sonic expression of the divine's unity. Onkar is not a word for God, it is the sound of God. The divine's creative presence in the universe is not silent. It is the continuous vibration of Onkar, the Naam, the divine name as sound current. The implications, if there is only one, then the divine is not somewhere else looking at this world. The divine is this world's deepest reality. If there is only one, then no human being is outside the divine scope. Every human being is an expression of the one if there is only one. Then every tradition that genuinely perceives this one is perceiving the same reality. If there is only one, then every practice of genuine inner devotion is worship of the same divine. Regardless of what name is used, Ika Onkar and Wadat al-Wujud, the Sikh Ik Onkar and the Sufi Wadat al-Wujud are the same recognition from different angles. The Sufi arrives at it through the dissolution of the ego in Fana. The Sikh arrives at it through Naam Simran, through the continuous remembrance of the divine name that gradually reveals the divine soul existence as the practitioner's own deepest reality. Waheguru, the name and nature of the divine. Waheguru is the primary Sikh name for the divine, and it is a name that expresses an experiential recognition rather than a theological proposition. Wahi is an exclamation of wonder and awe. Guru is the remover of darkness, the one who brings light. Waheguru, the wonderful illuminator, the one whose presence produces the specific quality of stunned recognition that occurs when the divine reality breaks through the practitioner's ordinary consciousness. The divine's characteristics in Sikh theology. Waheguru's nature, the Mool Mantar's attributes. The Mool Mantar describes the divine with a sequence of attributes that together constitute the most complete and most poetically precise theological statement in any tradition. Onkar, one divine reality. The numeral fact of singularity Satnam, whose name is truth. The divine's essential nature is not merely true, but is truth itself, Karta Purak. The divine is the active creative force in all of existence, Nirbhau, without fear, in no relationship of subordination or threat to anything of air, without enmity. The divine has no enemies, holds no grudges, excludes no one, Akal Marat, the undying form. The divine is beyond time and death Ajuni, beyond birth. The divine does not enter the cycle of birth and death Saibang, self-illuminating. The divine is the source of its own light, requires no external illumination Gur Prasad. By the Guru's grace, the divine is known through grace, not merely through effort Nirbhau and Naver. These two attributes deserve special emphasis. A divine that is without fear is a divine that is not threatened by anything, including other traditions' names for the divine, including different approaches to worship, including the practitioner's own doubts and questions. A divine that is without enmity is a divine that excludes no one, that holds no one in hatred or contempt. The Sikh divine is constitutionally incapable of the religious exclusivism that drives so much of the world's religious conflict. Naam, the divine sound current. Naam is among the most important and most distinctively Sikh concepts in the tradition, the understanding that the divine's presence in the universe is not silent but sonic, that the divine manifests as and through a continuous creative sound vibration that underlies all of existence, and that the practitioner's path consists fundamentally of attuning to this sound current through specific practices of sacred sound. What Naam is. Naam is not simply a name for God in the ordinary sense. It is the divine name understood as the creative sonic reality through which the divine constitutes existence. The Guru Granth Sahib consistently teaches that Naam is not a concept to be understood, but a sound to be heard, felt, and absorbed. That the divine's creative presence is literally audible in the deepest level of the practitioner's inner experience, when the ordinary mind's constant chatter is stilled enough to perceive it. Naam in the Guru Granth Sahib, key teachings. By Naam all things were created. Naam alone is the sustainer of the universe. Guru Granth Sahib, 284. The Naam is the support of all creation. The Naam is the support of the sky and the earth. Guru Granth Sahib, p. 284. Without the Naam there is only darkness. Guru Granth Sahib, the Naam is creative force, the resonance with the Hindu Om, the Jewish doctrine that the divine created through speech, the Egyptian Heka, and the Gospel of John's in the beginning was the word is not coincidental, these traditions are all recognizing the same primordial reality. The Sikh Naam is the most explicitly sonic and most practically accessible of these formulations. The Naam is not an abstract principle, but a specific sound vibration that can be directly heard through the practice of Naam Simran. Shabd Guru. In the Sikh tradition, the ultimate guru is not a person but the Shabd, the divine word, the Naam as it manifests through the sacred hymns of the Guru Granth Sahib. When the Guru Granth Sahib is read or sung, the Shabd Guru speaks through it. The sound current of the divine becomes accessible through the medium of the sacred poetry. Connection to Haligricity. The Sikh Naam, the divine name as the creative sound current underlying all of existence, accessible through Naam Simran, and through the Kirtan of the Guru Granth Sahib, is the most complete ancient parallel to the Haligric understanding of sound as creative force. The Haligric virescence, the practice of supercharging intention through vibration, is the Haligric application of the same recognition. That sound, when charged with genuine sacred intention and aligned with the divine reality, is not merely expressive but creative. Naam creates, Shabd teaches, Kirtan opens. The Haligric practitioner who engages the Kirtan tradition, even from outside the Sikh tradition, is engaging the most fully developed ancient science of sacred sound as both path and vehicle of the divine. The three pillars Naam Japna, Kirat Karni, Van Chakna. Guru Nanak distilled the entire Sikh path into three foundational practices, three pillars that, maintained simultaneously, constitute the complete Sikh way of life. These three are not merely recommendations, they are the operational framework of the Haligric tetrality expressed in Sikh terms. The three pillars in full. Naam Japna, the first and most essential pillar, the continuous practice of remembering, reciting, singing, and dwelling in the divine name. This is not merely morning and evening prayer. It is the cultivation of an unbroken thread of divine awareness running through all of daily life, in work, in conversation, in every ordinary activity. Naam Japna is the practice of maintaining the feeling dimension's orientation toward the divine, while all other activities proceed. Kirat Karni, the second pillar, the requirement that the Sikh earn their livelihood through honest labor. This prohibition on begging, fraud, exploitation, and any form of dishonest acquisition is simultaneously an ethical requirement and a spiritual practice. The Sikh is to work, with full engagement, with honest effort, treating the daily vocation as the arena of sacred service. Kirat Karni is the doing dimension, aligned, honest, fully engaged action in the world. Van Chakna, the third pillar, the requirement that the Sikhs share their earnings, their resources, and their time with others. Not charitable giving as a supplement to the main activity of self-enrichment, but the fundamental orientation of the Sikh's economic life towards sharing rather than accumulation. The Langar is the institutional expression of Van Chakna, the free kitchen where what has been honestly earned is freely shared with every human being who comes through the door. The three as a complete system. Naam Japna without Kirat Karni produces a spiritual practice disconnected from the world's realities. Kirat Karni without Naam Japna produces honest labor without sacred orientation. Both without Van Chakna produce personal spiritual development and personal material sufficiency without the community dimension that completes the path. All three together produce the fully integrated Sikh life. The Mool Mantar, the root statement of all truth. The Mool Mantar is the opening declaration of the Guru Granth Sahib, a theological statement so compressed and so complete that the tradition holds it to contain the entirety of Sikh teaching. Every Sikh practitioner memorizes it. It opens every day's prayers. It is inscribed above the entrance of every Gurdwara. The Mool Mantar, complete text and commentary. IK Onkar, one divine reality, the numeral fact of absolute unity. Satnam, whose name is truth, the divine's essential nature is Sat, so the divine's name is not a label but a description of its nature. Kata Purak, the creator being. The divine is not a passive principle, but an active creative presence. Nirba, without fear, the divine is in no relationship of threat or subordination to anything in existence. Nirvair, without enmity, the divine holds no being in enmity. Its love is unconditional and universal. Akal Mirat, the deathless form. The divine's form is beyond time, beyond the cycle of birth and death. Ajuni unborn, the divine does not take birth in the way that all conditioned beings do. It is the ground of all birth. Saibhang, self-illuminating, the divine is the source of its own light. It requires nothing outside itself. Gur Prasad, by the Guru's grace. The divine is known not through intellectual effort alone, but through the grace that flows through the Guru's teaching and presence. The practice. Many Sikhs recite the Mool Mantar as the opening of their daily Naam Simran, allowing the theological statement to become a meditative text, each attribute of the divine, absorbed into the practitioner's awareness as a direct recognition, rather than a theological proposition. The 10 Gurus, the living chain of divine wisdom. The 10 human Gurus of Sikhism, from Guru Nanak Dev Ji to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, constitute the most distinctive element of the Sikh understanding of sacred authority, not a single founder whose teaching is then interpreted by successors, but a single divine light passing from Guru to Guru in unbroken succession, so that each Guru is the same divine teaching in a different human form. All 10 Gurus, their contributions. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder, established Naam, Sangat, Pangat, and the Langar, composed the Japji Sahib and hundreds of sacred hymns. Guru Angad Dev Ji standardized the Gurmukhi script, the specific script for writing Punjabi, making the sacred hymns accessible to ordinary people rather than requiring Sanskrit literacy. continued and formalized the Langar practice. Guru Amar Das Ji established the Manji system, instituted specific Sikh ceremonies for birth, marriage, and death distinct from Hindu equivalents, and required that even the Mughal emperor eat in the Langar before meeting the Guru. Guru Ram Das Ji founded the city of Amritsar and began construction of the sacred pool that would become the site of the Harmandir Sahib. Guru Arjan Dev Ji compiled the Adi Granth, gathering the hymns of the first 4 gurus and adding his own, along with hymns from Hindu and Muslim saints. Built the Harmandir Sahib, became the first Sikh martyr, executed by the Mughal Emperor Jahangir for refusing to alter the Adi Granth. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji established the principle of Miri Piri, the twin swords of temporal and spiritual authority, teaching that the Sikh community must be capable of defending truth with physical force as well as spiritual power. Guru Harai Ji, known for his compassion, particularly for his healing work, and for his kindness to animals. Guru Har Krishan Ji, the youngest guru, became guru at age 5, died of smallpox at age 7 while serving and healing the sick of Delhi. The shortest serving guru, his selfless service unto death, is his primary teaching. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the 9th guru, executed by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb for refusing to convert to Islam and for defending the rights of Kashmiri Hindus to practice their own faith. Called the Hind, Dichadar, the shield of India. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th guru, established the Khalsa, completed and finalized the Guru Granth Sahib, and declared that after him the living guru would be the scripture itself. Lost 4 sons to the defense of the tradition, faced extraordinary historical adversity with remarkable equanimity, considered the most complete human embodiment of the Sikh ideal. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th guru, and the Khalsa. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is the most complex and most historically dramatic of the 10 gurus, a warrior poet saint who faced the loss of his 4 sons, his mother, and his father to Mughal persecution, who composed poetry of extraordinary beauty in Persian, Sanskrit, and Punjabi, and who in 1699 performed the single most transformative act in Sikh history, the establishment of the Khalsa. Vaisakhi, 1699, the founding of the Khalsa. On Vaisakhi, 1699, Guru Gobind Singh Ji called the Sikh community together at Anandpur Sahib. Before the assembled crowd, he drew his sword and asked who among the Sikhs was willing to give their head for the Guru. 5 men stepped forward, one by one, each taken into a tent from which the Guru emerged with a bloodied sword. When all 5 had been taken in, the Guru brought all 5 back. They had not been killed but had participated in a sacred ritual of willing death and rebirth. These 5, the Panch Pyare, were the first members of the Khalsa, what the Khalsa ceremony established. The Amrit Sanchar, the initiation ceremony, steel bowls of water sweetened with sugar crystals, stirred with a 2-edged sword while the 5 banis were recited over it, creating Amrit. The 5 beloved ones drank, and the Guru himself received initiation from them. In an extraordinary reversal, the Guru became the disciple, and the disciple became the Guru. The Khalsa identity, the initiated Sikh received the name Singh or Kaur, a single shared identity that eliminated all caste surnames. The Khatri Gobind Das became Gobind Singh, the Brahmin, the Rajput, the Shudra all became Singh or Kaur, their previous caste identity replaced by a single Khalsa identity. The Panch Kakars, the 5 articles of faith given to every Khalsa member. The Rihat Maryada, the Khalsa code of conduct, the specific ethical and practical requirements of Khalsa life. The declaration, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, declared that the Khalsa Panth was his body, that wherever 5 Khalsa Sikhs gathered for prayer, the Guru himself was present. The community became the Guru's physical embodiment in the world. The Khalsa, the pure community. The Khalsa is the initiated community of Sikhs who have undergone the Amrit Sanchar ceremony and committed to the Khalsa code of conduct. Not all Sikhs are Khalsa. Many Sikhs practice the tradition without taking formal initiation. But the Khalsa is the tradition's highest expression of committed sacred practice, and its principles govern the Sikh community's self-understanding, even for those who have not formally joined. The Khalsa's dual nature, Sant Sipahi. The Khalsa ideal is the Sant Sipahi, the Sant soldier, the being who combines the deepest inner spirituality with the physical courage and capacity to defend truth in the world. This combination was not accidental. Guru Gobind Singh Ji established the Khalsa in a specific historical context of Mughal persecution, in which the community that existed for inner spiritual development was being physically destroyed. The Sant Sipahi is the response, the practitioner who is so genuinely grounded in the divine that they fear nothing, including death, and who is therefore capable of standing between the innocent and those who would destroy them. Spiritual dimensions of the Sant Sipahi, complete immersion in Naam, the constant divine remembrance that makes the warrior's equanimity possible, the elimination of homai. The warrior who acts from ego generates karma, the Sant Sipahi acts from the divine's direction chadikala, the state of constant spiritual elevation, of equanimity in all circumstances, that prevents bitterness, revenge, and ego-motivated violence military dimensions of the Sant Sipahi, the capacity and willingness to physically defend the defenseless, any defenseless person, regardless of their religion, the Kirtan, as the symbol of this commitment, the Sikh military tradition, the Nihang warrior saints, the Sikh armies that protected the Punjab against multiple invasions. The 5 Ks, the Khalsa identity in material form. The 5 articles of faith given to every initiated Khalsa Sikh are the most immediately visible expression of the tradition, the 5 items that identify the Khalsa to themselves and to the world, that serve as a constant physical reminder of the Khalsa identity and commitment, and that are worn or carried at all times. Kesh. Uncut hair, the sacred natural form of the human being as the divine created it, Kesh is the most immediately visible of the 5 Ks. Initiated Sikhs do not cut their hair anywhere on the body. The Kesh is kept covered under a dastar or a chuni. The theological basis, the human body as the divine created it, is sacred. To alter it is to impose the ego's preferences on the divine's creation. The Kesh also has a practical spiritual dimension. The hair is understood in Sikh tradition as an antenna for receiving the divine's vibrations. The Guru Granth Sahib, the living eternal Guru. The Guru Granth Sahib is the eternal, living Guru of the Sikh tradition, not a historical text to be studied, not a collection of inspirational poetry, but the present, active, ongoing manifestation of the divine Guru in the world. When the Guru Granth Sahib is open, the Guru is present. When the Guru Granth Sahib speaks through the Kirtan of its hymns, the Guru is speaking. The practitioner who approaches the Guru Granth Sahib with genuine devotion is in the presence of the living divine. How it is treated. The Guru Granth Sahib is treated with all the honours due to a living sovereign. It is woken in the morning, ceremonially brought to the Darbar Sahib in a procession, installed on its throne under its canopy, fanned continuously with the Chor Sahib as long as it is open, and put to rest in the evening in the Sukhazan ceremony. Its pages are never turned carelessly. A rumala covers it between readings. The Granthi sits below the level of the Guru Granth Sahib. The Adi Granth, the synthesis scripture, the world's most explicit multi-traditional sacred canon. The Guru Granth Sahib is unique among the world's sacred scriptures in one specific and extraordinary way. It explicitly contains the sacred compositions not only of the 6 Sikh gurus, but of 15 Hindu Bhakti saints and 2 Muslim Sufi saints. These non-Sikh compositions are not appended or marginalized. They are woven throughout the scripture with full equality of status, the contributors to the Guru Granth Sahib. The 6 Sikh gurus, the primary composers, their hymns are organized by musical raga throughout the scripture. Kabir, the most extensively represented non-guru voice, a Muslim weaver from Varanasi whose devotional poetry bridges Hindu and Islamic traditions, and whose directness, humor, and theological precision make him one of the most beloved spiritual voices in the subcontinent. Over 500 of his compositions appear in the Guru Granth Sahib. Farid, a Sufi saint from what is now Pakistan, his 134 compositions in the Guru Granth Sahib represent the most significant incorporation of Islamic Sufi poetry into a non-Islamic sacred canon anywhere in the world. Ravidas, a Dalit leatherworker whose devotional poetry is among the most spiritually advanced in the entire scripture. His presence in the canon as an equal voice alongside the Brahmin and Kshatriya saints is the most explicit institutional statement of the tradition's rejection of caste hierarchy. Namdev, Trilakan, Sirdars, and others, additional Hindu Bhakti saints from various traditions, castes, and regions. The theological statement, the inclusion of these voices is not merely tolerant pluralism. It is the specific theological claim that the divine speaks through any sincere human being who is genuinely oriented toward the divine truth, regardless of their religion, their caste, their social status, or their historical period. The Guru Granth Sahib is, by design, the world's most explicit synthesis scripture, connection to Halagricity. Granth Sahib's inclusion of Kabir, Farid, and Ravidas alongside the Sikh gurus is the institutional version of what Halagricity holds about the world's sacred traditions. The divine speaks through every sincere practitioner regardless of their tradition's label, and the most complete available picture of the divine's teaching requires hearing those voices together rather than filtering them through any single tradition's exclusive claim. This is Anekantavada in sacred canonical form. This is the Talmud's method of preserving multiple opinions applied to the entire body of the subcontinent's sacred poetry. The Guru Granth Sahib is the most complete institutional ancestor of what Halagricity is doing. Kirtan sacred music is the primary spiritual path. Kirtan is the devotional singing of the sacred hymns of the Guru Granth Sahib, and it is the primary spiritual practice of Sikhism. Not the most accessible practice, not the most popular practice, but the tradition's central, most powerful, most directly effective vehicle for divine connection. Where other traditions make meditation or prayer the center, Sikhism makes Kirtan the center. The Harmandir Sahib in Amritsar has Kirtan performed continuously, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, without interruption. Why Kirtan works, the Sikh understanding. The Kirtan of the Guru Granth Sahib is not devotional music in the ordinary sense. It is the Shabd Guru made audible. When the hymns are sung correctly, with the right raga, the right tala, and the genuine heart devotion of the practitioner, the Naam becomes directly audible in the hymn's music. The Kirtan is not about the practitioner's musical skill. It is about the Guru's grace flowing through the medium of sacred sound, the raga system in the Guru Granth Sahib. The Guru Granth Sahib is organized by raga, the 31 classical Indian melodic modes that govern how the hymns are to be sung. This is not merely aesthetic. The ragas are understood as specific sonic technologies, each creating a specific quality of consciousness and sacred receptivity in the listener. Raga Japji Sahib, the opening no specific raga designation, as the Japji Sahib is recited rather than sung. Raga Sorath, the raga of the soul's yearning, associated with Bhairav's intensity, typically sung at dawn. Raga Dhanasari, associated with contentment and the divine's abundance, typically sung in the morning. Raga Gauri, the deepest and most meditative raga in the collection, the largest single raga section in the Guru Granth Sahib, containing the most extensive compositions on the nature of the divine and the soul's path. Raga Bhairavi, the closing raga, associated with completion and the acceptance of what is, always the last performed at a Kirtan session. The Rajis, the musicians who perform Kirtan in the Gurdwara, trained in both the classical Indian raga tradition and the specific Kirtan practice. The most accomplished ragis are among the most respected figures in the Sikh community. Naam Simran, meditation on the divine name. Naam Simran is the contemplative practice of Sikhism, the sustained, attentive remembrance of the divine name that constitutes the practitioner's most fundamental daily practice. It encompasses everything from the formal recitation of the Japji Sahib at dawn through the continuous internal repetition of Waheguru throughout the day. Naam Simran, complete practice guide. The Amrit Vela, the most auspicious time for Naam Simran, the hours before dawn, when the world is quiet, the mind is least cluttered with daily concerns, and the divine's presence is most accessible. The Guru Granth Sahib consistently teaches that the practitioner who rises before dawn for Naam Simran is the one most likely to make genuine progress on the path. The Nitnam, the 5 prescribed daily prayers, the banis that every Sikh is to read or recite at specific times, Japji Sahib, Guru Nanak's foundational composition, 38 pauris plus a salok, covering the complete Sikh theology and cosmology Yap Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji's litany of divine names, 199 attributes of the divine in multiple languages, Tav Prasad Savaye, Guru Gobind Singh Ji's composition on the futility of external religious practices without inner divine connection, Rera Sahib, a collection of hymns for the evening prayer, acknowledging the day's passing and surrendering to the divine Kirtan Sohila, the night prayer, 5 hymns preparing the practitioner for sleep, which is understood as a smaller death, and a practice for the greater death, continuous Naam Simran. Beyond the structured Nitnam, the practice of maintaining the repetition of Waheguru, or Satnam Waheguru, as an internal mantra throughout all daily activities. The goal is that the Naam becomes the background hum of consciousness regardless of what external activity is occurring. The practitioner is simultaneously doing their work and continuously in the divine's presence. The physical posture, Naam Simran, can be practiced in any posture, seated in meditation, walking, working. Many practitioners sit cross-legged with eyes partially closed, focusing on the breath and on the Naam. The specific physical practice is less prescribed than in many traditions. The quality of internal attention is what matters. Seva, selfless service as sacred practice. Seva is one of the foundational practices of Sikhism. The understanding that service to other human beings, performed without any motive of personal gain or recognition, is one of the most direct available paths to the divine. Not service as charity, but service as the natural expression of the recognition that every human being is the divine's manifestation, and therefore deserves to be served with the same devotion one would bring to serving the divine. Forms of Seva in Sikh practice. Tan Seva, the use of the body in direct service, working in the Gurdwara kitchen preparing Langar, cleaning the Gurdwara floors, washing the dishes after the Langar, cleaning the shoes of worshippers at the entrance. The most commonly practiced form, the most physically humble, the most powerfully ego-dissolving. Man Seva, the use of knowledge and skill in service, teaching literacy, providing professional services to those who cannot afford them, administrative work in Sikh institutions. Dan Seva, the giving of one's financial resources to support the Sikh community's service activities, the dasvansh that many Sikhs contribute. Why Seva is sacred? The Guru Granth Sahib teaches that Seva purifies the mind, that the ego's grip is loosened through repeated acts of service performed without recognition. The practitioner who scrubs the Gurdwara floor in the middle of the night, when no one is watching and no one will know, is performing the most advanced Sikh practice. He who is attached to Seva is supremely fortunate. Through Seva one finds liberation. Guru Granth Sahib, P26. The Langar sacred equality made edible. The Langar, the free community kitchen that every Gurdwara maintains, serving free vegetarian meals to every human being who comes regardless of their religion, caste, class, gender, or any other characteristic, is simultaneously the most practically significant and the most theologically complete institution that any sacred tradition has ever built. It is Sikh theology made into lunch. The scale of the Langar. The Harmandir Sahib in Amritsar serves between 50,000 to 100,000 free meals every single day, making it the largest free food operation on earth. On holy days and pilgrimage seasons, the number can reach 200,000. This is achieved entirely through Seva, volunteers from the Sikh community, and increasingly from non-Sikh visitors who come to participate in the service. There is no paid staff. The Langar operates as a continuous act of collective sacred service. The Langar is theology in practice. The Pangat. Everyone eats together in rows on the floor. The millionaire and the homeless person, the Brahmin and the Dalit, the Sikh and the Muslim and the tourist. The floor is the great equalizer. There are no VIP tables, no elevated sections, no better food for the wealthy. Everyone receives the same food from the same pots. The food, always vegetarian, so that no one, regardless of dietary restriction, is excluded from the shared meal. Simple, nourishing, made with love, dal, chapati, rice, sabzi, sometimes a sweet. The simplicity is deliberate. The Langar is not cuisine, it is communion. The Sevadars, the people who serve the food, have volunteered their time and their labor. The act of serving, carrying the pots, filling the plates, ensuring no one is missed, is understood as serving the divine in the form of every human present. The historical radicalism. When Guru Amar Das Ji required that even the Mughal emperor eat in the Pangat before having an audience with the Guru, this was not mere protocol. It was the institutional assertion that before the divine, the emperor and the sweeper occupy the same position. In 16th century India, this was not merely progressive, it was revolutionary. Guru Nanak Sasha Sauda, the tradition's founding story of the Langar, when Nanak's father gave him money to do profitable trade. Nanak encountered a group of starving sadhus and fed them all. When his father was furious. This is the true trade. Feeding the hungry is the most profitable investment one can make. The Ardas, the Sikh prayer. The Ardas is the Sikh prayer, a specific, structured supplication that is performed at the beginning and end of every Gurdwara service, before and after every significant undertaking, and in every Sikh ceremony. It is one of the most beautiful and most complete prayer forms in any tradition, simultaneously an invocation, a remembrance of the gurus and martyrs, an intercession for the community, and a petition for grace. The structure of the Ardas. Section 1, the invocation of the Adi Shakti. The Ardas opens with verses from the Adi Granth Sahib, invoking the divine Shakti and seeking the support of the divine for the prayer that follows. Section 2, remembrance of the 10 gurus. Each guru is remembered by name, with their specific contribution acknowledged. This section connects the prayer to the full lineage of the divine teaching. Section 3, remembrance of the martyrs, the Khalsa martyrs, those who gave their lives for the tradition, are remembered. This includes the sons of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the warriors of specific historical battles, and the entire tradition of Sikh sacrifice. This section can bring tears to those who know the specific history being referenced. Section 4, specific petitions. The specific needs of the congregation and the broader Sikh community are presented. Prayers for specific individuals, for the community's well-being, for the situation of Sikhs facing adversity anywhere in the world. Section 5, the universal close. The Ardas closes with one of the most beautiful closing prayers in any tradition. Nanak Naam Chadi Kala, Ter Ban Sabat the Bala. By the grace of Nanak, in high spirits, by your will, O Lord, may all of humanity prosper. The Ardas does not close with the Sikh community's prosperity. It closes with the prosperity of all of humanity. The boundary of the prayer's concern is every human being. Amrit Sanchar, the Khalsa initiation ceremony. Amrit Sanchar is the Khalsa initiation ceremony, the rite through which a Sikh formally joins the Khalsa and takes on the full obligations of initiated Sikh practice. It is the most sacred Sikh ceremony and the most complete transformation in the Sikh life. The Amrit Sanchar ceremony. The Panj Pyare, the ceremony requires the presence of 5 initiated Khalsa Sikhs who take the role of the original 5 beloved ones. They must themselves be fully initiated, wearing the 5 Ks, in a state of ritual purity. The Amrit preparation, a steel bowl of water is sweetened with patasas, the combination of strength and sweetness representing the Khalsa's character. The 5 Panj Pyare stand around the bowl and stir the water with a double-edged sword while reciting the 5 banis. As they recite, the ordinary water is transformed into Amrit, the nectar of immortality. The drinking, the candidate kneels before the 5 Panj Pyare and drinks the Amrit from their cupped hands 5 times. Each drink is accompanied by the recitation of Wahaguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Wahaguru Ji Ki Fateh. The 5 sprinklings, Amrit is sprinkled 5 times into the candidate's eyes and 5 times on their hair, the 5 sprinklings consecrating the 5 senses to the divine service. The remaining Amrit in the bowl is drunk by all present, the new member drinking with the Panj Pyare from the same bowl. This communal drinking is the most explicit enactment of the Khalsa's equality. There is no distinction of caste, class, or status in the bowl from which all drink. The new name, the candidate receives the name Singh or Kaur, the Khalsa surname that replaces all caste-based surnames. Sikh ethics, Homai, Sua, and Chadikala. Sikh ethics is organized around 3 central concepts that together describe the practitioner's challenge, the practitioner's path, and the practitioner's goal. The 3 ethical pillars. Homai is the Sikh understanding of the human condition's primary problem. Not original sin, not cosmic ignorance, not the material world as illusion, but the specific problem of the ego's insistence on its own centrality. Homai is the orientation toward the self, as the reference point of all experience, the perspective that evaluates everything in terms of what it means for me, that takes credit for what the divine is doing through the human instrument, that resists the dissolution of the self in divine service. Sua. The primary antidote to Homai is Sua, selfless service performed without any calculation of personal benefit. Each act of genuine Siva, scrubbing the Gurdwara floor, serving in the Langar, volunteering without recognition, is a small dissolution of Homai. The accumulation of seva across a lifetime progressively loosens the ego's grip on the practitioner's consciousness, creating the conditions for the Naam to penetrate more deeply. Chadikala is the Sikh name for the state of the spiritually advanced practitioner, someone who maintains equanimity, gratitude, and an orientation toward the divine regardless of external circumstances. In Chadikala, even adversity is received as the divine's grace. The martyrs who faced execution while reciting Naam, maintaining Chadikala in the face of death, are the tradition's supreme exemplars. The Ardas closes by invoking Chadikala for all of humanity. The Haligrasti lends Naam, synthesis, and sacred equality. Sikhism offers Haligrasti 3 specific gifts of extraordinary completeness. The Naam is the most fully developed ancient science of divine sound as creative force. The Adi Granth Sahib is the most institutionally complete multi-traditional sacred canon in history, and the Langar is the most operationally complete material enactment of sacred equality in any tradition. Naam and the Haligric understanding of sound. The Sikh understanding of Naam, that the divine's creative presence in the universe is sonic, that the universe is constituted by continuous divine sound vibration, and that the practitioner's path involves attuning to this sound current through specific practices of sacred music and mantra, is the most fully developed ancient parallel to the Haligric understanding of sound as creative force. The Haligric Verescence, the practice of supercharging intention through vibration, and the Haligric meal blessings use of specific words charged with specific intention both operate on the same recognition that the Sikh Naam tradition has explored and mapped most completely, that sound, when aligned with the divine reality, is not merely expressive but creative and transformative. The Guru Granth Sahib and the Haligric synthesis. The Guru Granth Sahib is the most complete ancient model of what Haligricity is doing with the world's sacred traditions. Not a syncretistic blending that loses each tradition's specificity, the Kabir compositions in the Guru Granth Sahib are identifiably Kabirs. The Farid compositions identifiably Farids, but a synthesis that holds each tradition's voice in its specific character while placing those voices in genuine dialogue. The editor organized the scripture by raga, rather than by author, is the Guru's statement that the organizing principle is not theological origin, but aesthetic spiritual quality, the music of the divine speaking through each human voice, regardless of that voice's religious label. Connection to Haligricity. Nanak Naam Chadi Kala, Teriban Sarbat Bala. In high spirits, by your will, O Lord, may all of humanity prosper. The Ardaz closes not with Sikh prosperity, but with human prosperity. The prayer's concern encompasses every human being, because the divine's concern encompasses every human being, because there is only one divine, and every human being is its expression. This is the theological foundation of everything in the Sikh tradition, the Langar that feeds everyone, the 5 Ks that make the saint a visible servant of truth in the world, the Guru Granth Sahib that holds Muslim and Hindu and Sikh voices as equal expressions of the same divine, the Khalsa that replaced all caste surnames with the single name Singer Kaur. Ik Onkar. 1. Grand Rising. Ik Onkar, Satnam. Karta Purach, Nurbau. Naver, one divine reality whose name is truth. The creator being, without fear, without enmity. The opening of the Mool Mantar, from the Guru Granth Sahib, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. The Kirtan has not stopped at the Golden Temple since the Gurdwara opened. The Langar has not closed, not for wars, not for partition, not for pandemics. The Naam sounds continuously. The Rajas sing in the Amrit Vela before dawn breaks. A Sikh is scrubbing a floor in the middle of the night when no one is watching, in the full knowledge that the divine is watching and that this is enough. Grand Rising. Personal reading series Haligricity, or IQ Productions, or May 2026.